Allow me, following tradition, to say literally a few words as we conclude this part of your work. Nick spoke about the illegitimacy of the regime in Kiev with which we are at war again. I want to emphasize that we are not at war with the Ukrainian people. And with the neo-Nazi regime in Kiev, which took power back in 2014, this marks the source of the coup's power. Consequently, all the troubles of Ukraine and Russia began right after that. This is still relevant today because these people who are in power, they commit crimes every day against their people and against ours. This regime has fundamentally lost and continues to lose. Regardless, it is apparent through signs of statehood. Here you go. Discussing illegitimacy implies we did not participate in the elections. The Constitution allows the President to extend his term. No, the Constitution makes it possible to extend the powers of only the representative body in power, the Rada. That's it. Additionally, citing martial law is irrelevant. No, in the Constitution, ways of extending the powers of presidential power. Where is the court? Where is the Supreme Court? That's a valid question. The Chief Justice is imprisoned. They just keep quiet about it. No one talks about it, but they put him in jail. B, the powers of the Supreme Court include, among other things, the cancellation of wrong decisions of the President. Several cancellations took place after that in prison. And the head of the regime will sit immediately on the same day. As you know, in all civilized countries, whether a person is guilty or innocent, whether he will sit or not, will determine only the court. No 10 administrative representative of administrative bodies. They will say they will sit. This is the Supreme Court. There is also the Constitutional Court. Do you know what happened to the Constitutional Court? Security has failed completely. They just don't let me work. In the end, the Constitutional Court as a whole was paralyzed, and the President of the Constitutional Court himself went abroad. Where is he? As far as we know, state security is provided. In the country of his stay, since there is a threat to his life. But this is it. There are no signs of statehood. These are precisely signs of loss of statehood. That is why crimes are committed one after another. I think that lowering the mobilization age to 18 would be another crime. This is precisely a crime, because reducing it to at least 14, like Hitler's Germany, creating Hitler-Jugend, will not change the situation on the battlefield. This is clear to everyone. Well, I think that at the behest of those countries whose interests it protects, the Kiev regime does not protect the interests of the Ukrainian people. This is already obvious today at the behest of those whose interests it serves and protects. Will they reduce mobilization to 18 years old and drive the boys away? But slaughter, since today people are caught on the streets like stray dogs during forced mobilization and are driving them under bullets today. It also seems to me to drive the boys and then these. The leaders of this regime will simply flee abroad under the cover of those whose tasks they are carrying out today. That's all. Most likely it will be. Some actors, the former in recent years escaped, are already sitting abroad and are well known and feeling well, because money was stolen from the Ukrainian people. It was transferred by pocket, and all these pockets are also abroad with those sponsors who keep them. Accounts were stolen on this hook of money, and now everything is in chaos, dancing around. Performing on the beach to any music, carrying out any task imaginable. I believe it will persist until we achieve our ultimate objective. Special military operation currently underway. I would say that stabilization is taking place in Ukraine. Everything is fine. You know, I mentioned it. Regarding personnel, last year we had significant figures. Over 300,000. Our citizens and our men voluntarily approached the military registration and enlistment offices to sign contracts. Over 300,000 individuals have enlisted to serve in the armed forces this year. At present, there are already more than 430,000. The influx of volunteers shows no signs of slowing down. Thank you. This attitude towards the future of our country and the well-being of our children has been repeatedly emphasized by both myself and the minister. In reality, this represents a pivotal moment in the combat operations. And our combat activity is an interception, a complete interception of the strategic initiative. Well, of course, that's not enough. Yes, by the way, when I spoke about these crimes, I meant not only crimes against the Ukrainian people, first of all against ours, including in the Kursk region and other border regions. Yes, of course, from a military point of view, who you can't talk to. All our domestic and foreign experts have a consensus on this matter. In Kursk, this adventure, as they say, the Kursk adventure, this is obvious. Because there is no point in the fact that the Kiev regime makes border regions, but from the point of view, crimes committed against the Russian people are unacceptable. These are obvious things. This is a crime. This is especially true of the suffering of the civilian population. And here, of course, is the sacred duty of the armed forces to expel the enemy from our territory. The task of military justice bodies is to record all these crimes, especially against the civilian population, and the task of special services is to find and punish the criminals. Now, as for of how much money we spend and what it translates into, an extremely important thing. Certainly an extremely important thing here. The minister said 3 or 6 and 3 10% NNP we spend on the military component for defense, increasing and strengthening defense capabilities. This is decent money. It is higher than us, about 2.5% than we spent before. But these are not the biggest, no matter how strange. Costs in the world, even among countries that do not have any armed conflicts. Nevertheless, this is a lot of money, and here we need to use it very rationally. First of all, providing social guarantees for our military personnel very rationally. Effective activity of the defense industrial complex. But what is also very important is the rational use of what the country gives the armed forces. This also pertains to weapons technology, just as it did to social issues. It is very important to receive everything in a timely manner, to correctly assess what comes in and be able to use it, and to train personnel, to train people who know how to do it competently and effectively. There are a lot of tasks here. In general, they are decided or what is happening in the peoples, but for now, as we are now saying yes, what is happening right on the line of combat contact, yes, but we also need to adjust our entire military organization to such a joint one, to carry out the work, to achieve the end result. What? Yes, now in this regard and the latest types of weapons, including those that are heard both here and abroad. First of all, referring to medium-range weapons, well, you all remember well, you know. What? The Soviet Union proceeded to eliminate ground-based medium-range missiles. Did the Americans do the same? With their Pershings. But the Americans, in addition to land-based medium-range missiles, also had the same sea-based missile systems and air-based, but the Soviet Union did not have it, so to a certain extent they went to unilateral disarmament. The potential adversary maintained these systems at sea and in the air, while we got nothing. But now Russia has developed much more advanced systems than the United States. Sea-based system. Caliber is a zircon hypersonic complex. They have successfully developed the latest medium-range, air-launched Odin missiles, which have a range significantly greater than that of any potential adversary. Over 4,000 kilometers. Additionally, this system can be fitted with a special nuclear warhead. Finally, we have reached this point. The hazelnut complex has been highly effective. It's extremely powerful. I'll emphasize this once more. Specialists understand that the air's commander who is present doesn't share this view. He suggested that for complex or group usage, multiple complexes should be deployed simultaneously. This parallels the deployment of nuclear weapons, but fundamentally it is not nuclear. Since there is no nuclear fuel, the nuclear component has no contamination, and it is essentially very element B. In modern ones. What are the decision-making mechanisms? Armed struggle we can apply to, but we have to pay close attention to what is happening in other countries. Yes, what is entering service or may enter service in the near future in other leading military countries in this way, as we did, is still needed exactly. Act in the near future and medium term. I will once again return to what was just said, 6 and 3/10% in the P. We spend on increasing the strengthening of defense capabilities. In order to all components in the country, all components of the vital activities of states, the economy, the social sphere in the broadest sense of the word, science, education, healthcare, developed to swing to infinity, raise to infinity. We can't afford these expenses either. I say this so that we all understand that the state, the Russian people give everything they can to the armed forces to replenish the tasks that you face us, and our task is to ensure security. Russian people, to ensure the safety of our people and the future of Russia. I very much hope that the pace that has been gained in recent months on the line of combat contact will be maintained. I want to thank you for your service and wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.